Hey guys, what's up? Bradley Overrated coming at you with another Overrated review, and for those of you that don't know this, my Overrated reviews are definitely overrated. They are the most casual versions of a review you could possibly get. Nothing technical, it's just me, some gameplay, some pluses, some minors. I give it a score as if I was a critic. I'm not, by the way. And today we are reviewing TumbleSeed, this roguelike adventure game that is pretty frickin' difficult. And to say this game is difficult is underselling it. I think this game is more difficult than any of the Dark Souls games I've ever played. Yeah, this is not a joke. This game is punishingly tough. As a matter of fact, when this game came out back in 2017, it had only 0.2% of the people that played the game actually complete it, due to the fact of how punishingly difficult it was. And the developers, aeiowu, they gave an update called the Four Peaks update, which made the game a lot more bearable, essentially. So TumbleSeed, there is actually a story here. You play as TumbleSeed, this guy that wakes up one morning to find out that there's all these holes that have occurred and there's this creature that is causing all this ruckus. And it's all part of this prophecy where you're to scale the mountain, essentially, and save the world for all the other seeds that exist on the mountain. It's a very simple story, and the story is admittedly kind of just weak. It doesn't really pull you in. That's basically the entire thing until you get to the end of the game. But it serves its purpose, and that's not really what this game is about. The game is to really test yourself to see how well you can actually scale the mountains. As you can see here on the screen, you have to balance. You use the left stick and the right stick to tilt your seed, and you push them both up to go up and to go down. You push both control sticks to go down. It sounds very simple in concept, but it is very difficult to master this. There will be plenty of times in this review you will see me struggle to grab something. I'm just trying to balance myself. You have to be very patient and very careful in every single path that you go, because there are so many ways for you to die. And speaking of death, you're gonna die. You're gonna die a lot. I mean, you're gonna die so much from falling into holes and the bugs and the creatures that kill you and the bombs that are there and oh, all the secret little holes that magically appear right before your eyes. If you're not paying attention in the slightest to not only your character, which by the way, you're bobbing the whole frickin' time, you're going to die by something else that's coming at you and you didn't even realize it was coming at you because you're so focused on trying not to fall in one of the 50,000 frickin' holes. Did I mention this game is hard? I think I did, because it's definitely hard, and it doesn't help for the fact that when I did the first 4 peaks, I wanted to do it the way it was originally designed, and with the update, they gave these things called auras, and these auras give you essentially this extra power that helps save you in a lot of ways. There's even one that allows that when you fall into a hole, you don't take any damage, which is very life-saving because in my experience at least, the number one way that I would die would be by falling in a stupid hole. But I decided, because, you know, being the genius that I am, to play the game the way it was originally meant, which is only the first 4 superpowers, essentially, that TumbleSeed gets, which is very, very, very punishingly difficult to do with just these powers. I see where people are coming from when they said this game is too difficult, but I was able to still, despite the difficulty, beat it. And that's the interesting thing about TumbleSeed is you usually get complaints that games don't have enough challenge in them, like Kirby Star Allies, for example. That was a big complaint, but very rarely do you get games that are heavily criticized for being too difficult, and TumbleSeed falls on that category. Now, I don't really think the game's too difficult is a bad thing. I think it's more of this game's meant for people who are really good at video games type of game. And I'm not the best at video games, but I was able to get through this game, so I'd say a good amount of people, that is, can get through this game if they're just patient enough and are willing to practice, because that's essentially all you do in this game is die a lot, but dying makes you improve. It's very similar to those really, really tough games that you play, like Ninja Gaiden, for example. I should also mention that this game apparently has a lot more content since when it first came out. It basically just had the story mode and a daily challenge, and now it has the story mode, the daily challenge, the update, which gives you all sorts of new abilities to acquire and challenges to have when you play as TumbleSeed, and the new abilities and the new powers and all of that stuff makes this game really fun. I was really looking forward to going through each of the challenges in order to see what new powers you can get. They were very creative with this game when they designed it, and they gave this update. The update also does make the game a lot easier, but even though it's easier, it's still very, very difficult. And then for the Nintendo Switch version, you get the 2-player battle that you just saw on the screen, which is only available on the Nintendo Switch version. This game's also on Steam, but the Steam version forgoes that version, so the Switch version's the superior way, all you PC master racers. And there's also a weekly challenge, which allows you to try to scale a mountain. You have an entire week to do so. And while the content doesn't seem like a lot, due to the fact that this game is so difficult, it's a lot more than it looks. I've put in a good 20, almost 20 hours into this game now, and this game only cost me around the $10 price range. So I definitely, without a doubt, got my money's worth, and price is not an option. It is worth whatever the price is. If it's $10 to $15, anywhere in there, this game is worth that price in my opinion. When it comes to the negatives on this game though, there are really only two that stand out. And the first one was what I talked about earlier, which was the story. It was just kind of there. It didn't really... I feel like they could have done a better job with it. Maybe introduced more characters, had a little bit more dialogue. Make me feel something, you know, not even feel something, just give me a little bit more sustenance for this game. And then the second one are these towns. These towns give you some fun little side activities that you can do, but I kind of wish there was more character involvement and also a little bit more, once again, sustenance in these towns. More dialogue from people, and there's not a lot of that. And I guess they're not even people, they're technically seeds. Alright guys, let's give this game a letter score, and for those of you that don't know this, I give letter scores, you know, A, B, C, D, no E's, E's suck, all the way down to F, A being the best, F being the worst, and with this update, TumbleSeed is one of my favorite indie games on the Nintendo Switch. I think is absolutely fantastic, and I am proud to give this game an A-. Not a joke. This game is absolutely fantastic, and aeiowu, the developers of this game, should hold their heads up high. With this update, I feel like it is so much more accessible. I heard, though, they didn't meet the sales numbers they were hoping for, and that makes me sad because this is a true awesome gem for the Nintendo Switch and for Steam for those that are interested in it on that platform. And this concludes my review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am Bradley Overrated, and if you are interested, you are more than welcome to like, dislike, and subscribe to my channel. I do reviews every week, and thank you so much for watching. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go fall into another hole on this game, because that's all I ever do. Just fall into holes. Just like life.